की सीताराम लक्ष्मण हनुमान जी की जय, श्री गौर निताय की जय। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी इति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम
हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna
we go away and go to all these other places, then we realize, oh my God, they're so petite, so pretty, so beautiful. And of course, why shouldn't they be? They're Krishna and Radharani, and Srimati Sita Devi, Ram, Lakshman, Hanuman. So just to let you know, we'll be doing a class. The evening class that used to happen from 7:30 till 8:30 is now happening from 6 till 7. So just to give you a little idea, it's going to be about 40 minutes, the class. And then we'll do either question answers or, talk. And then there's Aarti at 7 o'clock. So hopefully sometimes the youngsters show up and then they do the kirtan. But if any of you feel that they want to impress upon Shri Shri Radha Gokulananda, I'm sure they just care for devotion. They don't care for how we sound. So we'll just do short prayers, Radha Madhava, and then we'll just say Om Namo Bhagavate. These are, prayers that we're going to be touching scriptures. We're going to be needing their blessings. Of course, our Acharya, Jagat Acharya, in fact, Srila Prabhupada. Had it not been for Srila Prabhupada, also known as Abhecharan, he also known as Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj. So because of that, this temple is obviously called Bhaktivedanta Manor, right? So because of him, we are sat here in London, Watford, and trying to read from our scriptures. So had he not taken this mammoth task of coming over in his retirement to enlighten us all, at least me, I know I would have never understood the scriptures like I do now because he's translated them all in English and so on. So thank you for coming. We'll just do little Radha Madhav prayers now. So please feel free to ask questions towards the end or comments if you have any. And please participate because I am, like you guys, quite regular, working outside in this world, earning my livings, paying my mortgage, and so on. And this privilege that I have here at the moment, it's all obviously due to my, of course, Srila Prabhupada, but Srila Prabhupada's very dear disciple, my Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj, who very sadly left us 2 years ago due to COVID. But anyway, those are the Leelas, I'm sure he's around and we all got his blessings and we wish wherever he is, he's serving his dearest Guru Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada. So let's start. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन जमुना तीरा बनचारी जमुना तीरा बनचारी जमुना तीरा बनचारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा हरे राम हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम जय राधा गोकुल नंद राधे जय सीताराम लक्ष्मण हनुमान सीताराम लक्ष्मण हनुमान जय गौरानिताय जय गौरानिताय जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव बोलो श्री श्री राधा गोकुल नंद भगवान जी की. So today we will be reading from chapter 13, verse 24. So for those who've got this book, it's page number... Okay. The chapter is called Nature, the Enjoyer and Consciousness. And the page number, the text number is 24, and the page number is 669. And before I go on to verse, let me welcome you all again. And of course, my lovely Sangha family online, Radha Gokulananda Sangha, in case anyone's watching. And I've got a few of our Sangha members here, and all of you, of course. So thank you all for making time. And I'd like to take the blessings. Sorry, what is it? Could I help? Oh, you wanted to get the correct verse. There are some more Bhagavad Gitas that side, and oh, you've got it Veda base. Oh, okay. Yeah, normally they used to have, in the morning, they have the, the blackboard in which they put 1324. Anyway, so yeah, if those of you who want to have Bhagavad Gita, which we're reading from, there is some behind the curtains there, and some over that side as well. So let me just say my thank yous and take all your blessings. Of course, we've got our very own Her Grace Champaklata Radhika Mataji in altar today. Incidentally, Rajesh and I are here initiated because of her and her husband. And of course, there's other mentors, Neela Madha Prabhu. There is Prana Shruti, Shiksha Gurus. There's Mukund Hari Prabhu, who's my mentor now. In between for singing, it was Prem Sankirtan Prabhu as well. I mean, we are, the devotees are so kind. They give you so much love and affection. And because of that, His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj decided to give us initiation. So also I'm grateful. My parents are here. They're visiting us from India. So they gave me the first birth, and my Guru Maharaj gave me the second birth. And now I'm called Vrinda Vilasini Devi Dasi. That's my spiritual name. So if there's any problems, you can speak to me later. And I hope, and I would like to dedicate this class to His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj. So let's start off with the Sanskrit, but I'll just do Om Namo Bhagavate, which is what we customarily do when we read Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So thank you. So text 24. Now this is the difficult bit, right? But luckily Srila Prabhupada's translated Hindi and Sanskrit into English. So reading. Ya evam veti purusham prakriti cha gune saha sarvatha vartamanopi nasa bhuya bhijayate. So I'll just do one line at a time, so then you can repeat. Ye evam veti purusham prakritim cha gune sahe sah prakritim cha gune saha sarvartha vartamano bhi sarvatha vartamanopi na sa bhuya bhijayate. Ya evam veti purusham prakritim cha gune saha sarvatha vartamanopi na sa bhuyo bhijayate. Anyone like to try Sanskrit? Na ye evam veti purusham prakritim cha gune saha sarvatha vartamanopi nasa bhuyo bhijayate. Anyone else? Any takers? Okay, right. So, yah means anyone. Who? Evam means thus. Veti understands. Purusham, the living entity. Prakritim, material nature. Cha, and gune, the modes of material nature. Saha, with. Sarvatha, in all ways. Vartamana, being situated. Api, in spite of. Na, never. Saha, he. Bhuya, again. And abhijayate, takes his birth. And the translation by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. One who understands this philosophy concerning material nature, the living entity, and the interaction of the modes of nature is sure to attain liberation. He will not take birth here again, regardless of his present position. Wow, such a strong verse, right? And purport by His Divine Grace. Clear understanding of material nature, the super soul, the individual soul, and their interrelations makes one eligible to become liberated and turn to the spiritual atmosphere without being forced to return to this material nature. This is the result of knowledge. The purpose of knowledge is to understand distinctly that the living entity has by chance fallen into this material existence by his personal endeavor in association with authorities, saintly persons, and a spiritual master. He has to understand his position and then revert to spiritual consciousness or Krishna consciousness by understanding Bhagavad Gita as it is explained by the personality of Godhead. Then it is certain that he will never come again into this material existence. He will be transferred into the spiritual world for a blissful eternal life of knowledge. Jai. Okay, I want you guys to turn to the beginning in the introduction. We're going to do our Om Ajnanatimirandasya prayers just beneath introductions on the book. If those of you who want to follow can see. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjalashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Gurum Shri Yutapad Kamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadhvaitam Sadhudhitam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakha Vitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Bandhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kantam Sthite Tapta Kanchange Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Prishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpaturu Bhrescha Kripa Sindhu Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Please hands up in the air. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we can see Krishna here is telling us that there is a foolproof way. So if we do not want to be taking birth in this material world, there is something which he has stated in the translation. One who understands this philosophy concerning what? Material nature, modes of material nature, we've read about them, three, the gunas, the living entity, jiva, and the interactions of modes of nature is sure to attain liberation. And he will not take birth here again, regardless of his present position. So no matter what position we are here, we do not have to go life after life after life in some form or the other. So this birth, we are lucky. We are all in human form. And we don't really know in, previous forms, what form did we have? Did we have... this human form is very rare. So it's nice that we are all here and trying to take advantage of this book, which is Bhagavad Gita, but with a difference because it says as it is. So I like to emphasize that because there's so many Bhagavad Gitas, but our Srila Prabhupada, and I'm not biased because I'm in this movement. Believe me, I wasn't always in this movement. And as I was raised, there was a lot of stuff I didn't understand, but now thanks to this book, we are able to at least read what's written in our scriptures. Beforehand, it was all in Sanskrit. And then there are other Bhagavad Gitas, but they have their own concoctions or their own story and everything else. But the reason why it's called as it is because Srila Prabhupada has actually translated word to word the conversation Arjun and Krishna Bhagwan is having. So hence the reason nothing has been added, nothing has been taken out, so so that we can actually experience the taste of what Krishna stated as it is, right? So no, like we say alloys, no mixture. So this is pure, just Krishna's words and Arjun's words as opposed to everybody else's commentary. And for those of us who do not understand, then he's explained in purport what it really means. So, just to give a little background about this chapter, who's going to tell me that Arjun's questions, Arjun is very inquisitive in this. This is where the Gyan Kanda form starts. So we know first 6 deal with Karam Yoga, and then 7 to 12 is the best part, devotional service, Bhakti Yoga. And this one is Karam Yoga. I didn't mean to say Karam Kanda, sorry. It was Gyan, not Gyan Kanda, but Gyan Yoga. And this is going to be dealing with the knowledge. And why do we need knowledge? If we didn't have knowledge, hello children, are you staying? Or you? Okay. So if we do not have knowledge, will we be respectful when we come to have the darshan of beautiful Radha Krishna here? Would we know what should Krishna be holding in his hands? No. Would we know what is Krishna's favorite color for his dhoti? Why is he always in pitambar or yellow? What should be his color? It all comes from knowledge. And where do we get this knowledge? Krishna is very kindly explaining everything to Arjun, who is, for our sake, trying to ask these questions so people like us can get knowledge. You can imagine if we say a man is known by the company he keeps. So if Arjun is a great friend of Lord Krishna, how is he going to not know a lot of things? Like in here, he's asking lots of questions and stuff. That is literally just trying so that people like us in this material world can try and understand through his question, what is of importance in this life? And then hopefully imbibe those teachings and in our way of life, so that we can also, we don't have to in next birth. I know a lot of people don't believe in reincarnation, but Bhagavad Gita states that you would, if you have to get out from the cycle of birth and death and old age and disease, and who doesn't have this, or who hasn't gone through this in their life or in their family, seen someone else go through it? We all do. So do we want to carry on doing this thing repetition times, however many births we take, millions of times? No. If we are sensible, if we want to take control of our life, what do we want to do? We want to take up a process, learn about it, and then surrender on to our acharyas who have done research on this, detailed research, and surrendering on to them. By their mercy, we are able to try and understand this process, so that we can then don't have to in next life come back here in this material world where there is lots and lots of, there is little sense enjoyment, but there's mostly lots and lots of problems, troubles, and this is beginning of Kali Yuga. So in next so many years, this is only going to go worse and worse. So our choice, if we want to always be staying in this world, or do we want to do something permanent so we become eternally a servant of Krishna, so that we don't have to go through all this rigmarole every time. So giving you a little background about the text 23. So before we analyze the teachings and meanings of this philosophy of text 24, the text 23 confirms in this body there is a soul. Each individual soul has super soul, and that there is a differentiation between Atma and Paramatma. So Atma is soul and Paramatma is super soul. And it's because of our misuse of our independence, which is the cause of our material misery and pain of having to come into this world. So that is what they have mentioned in text 13. So I'll just quickly read the translation. It says, "Yet in this body there is another, a transcendental enjoyer, who is Lord, the supreme proprietor, who exists as the overseer and permitter, and who is known as Super Soul." So Bhagavad Gita is interesting in the sense that straight away, if I just give little as to, like why we should read Bhagavad Gita. So out of all the essence of Upanishads, yes, Bhagavad Gita is the essence. And hence the reason why we are taking the essence. We don't have to read 20 million, billion times, whatever the books are, to get the gist of what the conclusion that our acharyas have given. So this is a 48-minute conversation, Rajesh, between Krishna and Arjun. Starts off. And then also Srimad Bhagavatam, which is essence of all the Puranas. So if we read these two books, we should be able to get clear instructions or clarity in our life as to what is being expected of us. What are they actually saying? And when they say, you are not this body to begin with, it sounds like, hang on, it's me. It is me, Why are they saying you are not this body? But that's how Bhagavad Gita starts off, by telling us that there is a minute spirit soul inside us which makes sure that we have life. Otherwise, we are made up of matter, just like this mic, this floor, the wood. We all made up of 5 elements. We know that. When the spirit soul dies, what happens? We say, this particular person's left his body. How would you know that? Oh, even if the dead body is there in the, in front of you, you just say, he's passed away. The same person, right? But when we look at the mirror, I don't see that little minute thing that's giving me the consciousness or keeping me alive. We don't. We never demarcated. It's only through Srimad Bhagavad Gita where they stated that these two are giving us essential knowledge. And we've just read in this is the link, where it's saying, the one who understands this philosophy concerning material nature, the living entity, and the interactions of mode of nature is sure to attain liberation. So knowledge. So we need that transcendental knowledge. Bhagavad Gita is giving us the knowledge about Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the wisdom is there about the transcendental knowledge, hence the reason. So this we can get through, can we just get it through eyes? No, first we have to either read and hear, right? And we all know how, this is how it started, this particular Vedic wisdom, the Vedas, it was the Lord Brahma, he is the firstborn in universe, and he was given this transcendental knowledge, which he heard, and in form of sound vibration. And then from then onwards, it was passed on to others, and in disciplic succession. So this particular Vedas are different to the normal books we get. Vedas, and we know essence is Bhagavad Gita, it's not from this world. It's given by the Lord himself. And the first personality in the entire universe was Lord Brahma who had it. And then disciplic succession or parampara, in the chain, it was then given to Narad, Vyasdev, and then, there is a little chart at the beginning of, if you have time, you can actually have a look. It's all listed, how it's carried on from one person to other, because somebody who has taken the knowledge from Guru, so when Guru takes you on and you surrender and you have the right attitude, like submissive attitude, and you are sincere in your questions, he imparts this valuable knowledge to you. And that knowledge, once you get, then you become a guru or you become a preacher, and that's how it carries on and on and on. We are lucky now we've got all the written formats, but there was once upon a time, like memory, it used to be just be remembered. Shri Shri Radha Gokulanand Bhagwan ki jai, Shri Shri Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman ki jai. Gauranitai ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai, and Guru Maharaj's favorite disciple, Her Grace Champaklata Mataji ki jai. I don't know if you know, her exalted husband, he is also our mentor, Radha Vinod Prabhu. He always used to tell us this funny story. When he used to go in train once in time, he was going in a normal carriage, and there was all the doctors there. So he asked them the question, like, who are you? So the guy said, oh, my name is this, And he said, no, but who are you? And then I remember he was saying it to us in Gujarati. He was telling this story to some of the, like some ladies who like to hear things in Gujarati, the katha. He was saying, "Hu kon chu," and although I'm Punjabi, but I couldn't, it just makes you crack up. Then the doctor was thinking, why is this going on and on about who are you? So he was saying, oh, well, I am this person. This is my father. This is my mother. Yeah, but who are you? So, if you carry on like this, okay, my name is Vrinda Vilasini. Okay, my parents, Satya Devi, Purushottam, then their parents, and you can carry on going. But eventually, who are you? Right? So he made, His Grace Radha Vinod Prabhuji made a point that we are not this body, because we know in chapter 2, Krishna starts off by saying, everyone knows that verse, 2.13? Yes? Dehino asmin yatha dehe komaram yovanam jara tatha dehantar praptir dhiras tatra namuyati. So that verse is basically saying, as the embodied soul passes from, Roy, from what? From childhood to youth, to old age, and then death ultimately. But the sober person is not bewildered by such a change, right? Because if we think about it, instead of fearing death, we can be embracing things that everybody has to go through. And I give an analogy before as well of this cat. When it holds a rat in its mouth, the teeth are totally different. And I'm sure rat doesn't feel very comfortable. Yet, with the same teeth, when it holds its kitten, no harm comes to it. So similarly, the devotees of Krishna, or any devotees, when some of the experienced people say, like when you are actually going through that stage in your life, like we all know, Srila Prabhupada exemplified. He was actually giving Srimad Bhagavatam class. He was talking about, they say like, you go through so many difficulties, and yet he was able to give a class. There is his, it's a YouTube video. If you get chance, have a look. So he was preaching till the end. So it's very important that we realize we weren't always like this. We've all been babies. We've all been different. But that particular spirit soul inside us, that's remained same. And because of that, we think, okay, I'm still the same. Even though when I never used to look like that. At least I was a lot skinnier when I was a lot younger. I used to be like, but anyway, good old days, eh? Important thing is that body is changing. And we need to make sure that everybody that's living, we already discussed this in our Sangha meetings, in our classes. It's got 6 symptoms, right? Rajesh, you want to say? So anything that is alive, what would it do? It would also have, the sign of lives, basically. Everybody would have birth, they would have to grow, so trees, microbes, whatever else, us. Then there'll be change, then there'll be reproduction, then there'll be decay, and natural progression, and there's death. And that anything that is living, you will know, whether it's tree, whether it's microorganism, whether it's us, whether it's animals, they all have souls, and hence the reason they show all these 6 signs of life, right? So we need to know our spiritual purpose and the goal of our human life. And this is where we go back to our text. And in there, Arjun's asked about 6 things. He's queried at the beginning of chapter 13 about 6 questions. What is Prakriti, Mother Nature, material nature? What is Purusha? Who is Purusha? So Purusha is, we can call Jiva. Jiva means we are all into sense enjoyment, but the real enjoyer is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then there is 2 other things, Kshetra and then Kshetragya. So Kshetra means a field. Field is being referred to as body here. And Kshetragya is the knower of that body. Who is that? Knower of all bodies, in fact, is, again, Paramatma, right? And then there is knowledge, so Gyan, and then there is Gya, the one where the knowledge comes from, and he is the goal of knowledge, he is the object of knowledge, and so on. So these are the 6 topics that are being discussed in this chapter: nature, the enjoyer, and consciousness. And then Krishna obviously explains, he is explaining the difference between the material nature, the living entity, And the interaction, this is the important thing, our interaction with modes of nature, with material nature, and then how that can actually lead us to get the next birth or the next form of body. Because we've all seen, like we've all heard about that story about how this rishi was thinking about a deer, although he was so exalted, but at the time of death, he was worried about the little deer who had been separated from the mother. And is it 8.5? Chapter 8.5, isn't it? Let me just quickly have a look. Yeah, it says attaining the supreme. And the verse is text 5. Antakale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram yaha prayati samadbhavam yati nashtastra sanshaya. And whoever at the end of his life quits his body, remembering me alone. Me is in capital, yeah? M is a capital, that means the Lordship. At once attains my nature, and of this there is no doubt. And then the next verse says, Yam yam vapi smaran bhava tajyante kalevaram tyajanyante kalevaram tam tam iveti konteya sada tad bhava bhavita. Whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body, O son of Kunti, that state he will attain without fail. Hence the reason why we need to practice and do all these, we need to have the knowledge, because if we know what goal we need to achieve, only then you can try and reach it, right? So we need to cultivate knowledge about the Lordship. Why? Again, because Purusha, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Paramatma, he is like the relationship with Prakriti. Prakriti is controlled, Mother Nature, and Purusha. Because Paramatma and Super Soul is in the entire nature. So there's this interlinking. So we say sometimes the modes of nature are like in the morning we should do the chanting, we should get up in the morning and we should be thankful to the God. We got up and we be able to see new day and be grateful by glorifying the Lord. Be thankful to, I think you guys probably when we have dinner you say, isn't it, and Roy, like you guys thank the Lord for the bread, right? So we are grateful, we're showing our appreciation to God, because in the end, when you just go through the chain towards the end, everything belongs to God, really. You think about it. Even if this temple, for that example, like the wood, the ultimate, everything else that's come from earth, didn't belong to any company, manufacturers, or anything like that at once upon a time. So all in all, we need to have knowledge. So material nature commands us to fulfill the desires, needs, longing, accumulation of wealth, and enjoy the worldly comforts like eat, drink, be merry, but then what? Right? We need to practice how we need, like we all know, if athletes who are running 600 meters or any other, long jumps or, anybody else who's taken a sport, they practice. This is what we want to do. So we want to practice chanting. Why are we doing chanting? Because by chanting, we are then associating with the Lord himself. How? because when we come to have darshan, when we are thinking of Lord, when we're talking about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, what happens? There is this verse, beautiful verse. I mean, I cannot be thankful enough like our teachers, His Grace Navdeep Chandra Prabhu, His Grace Param Karuna Prabhu. Before that, we had our other Bhakti Shastri teachers. They're all doing such a fantastic job. And when you actually join these courses in School of Bhakti, that you actually realize, okay, well, I was reading this, but it was just literally stopping here. It's through these courses that you're able to then dive a little deeper. And as I've already explained, the importance of knowing this knowledge and how do we need to know this knowledge to have a goal in our life that we need to meet and that we need to practice. So there's this verse we're doing in Bhakti Vaibhav, and it goes like this. Evam, I think it's Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2:20. Evam prasanna manaso bhagavad bhakti yogita bhagavad tattva vijnanam mukta sangasya jayate. And the meaning is that one who is established in the unalloyed mode of goodness. So once when one is established in the mode of unalloyed goodness, the man whose mind has been enlivened by contact with the devotional service, in other words, bhakti, to the Lord. What happens then? Once we get into devotional service of the Lord, we gain positive scientific knowledge. So it gains positive scientific knowledge. Vijnanam. Vijnan means science, and of the personality of Godhead. So this is science also, but like I did my degree or my biology and my zoology in all sorts of things that I may not be using now, but this science is about the personality of Godhead in the stage of liberation from all material association. So what we need to do is do little detachment so that we can actually, at the end of our life, we can detach ourselves from all these things, this body, by knowing the knower of the body is the main person. The knowledge about the object of knowledge, who is Shishi Radha Gokulanandaji, and knowing ourselves that there is soul, but we also have Paramatma sitting who's witnessing everything, right? And there is a distinction between us. So it's nearly 6:45. So we just have to carry on practicing and chanting the names of the Lord. And initially we won't have the taste, because think about it, I don't know how many births we've had, and there's so much the dust, so-called dust, accumulated. So for us to actually try and come close to Krishna, we need to be able to get rid of that dust. And how can you take dust? You can have shower and you can take the dust like that. But the internal dust in your heart, our relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that needs to be revived, right? So how do you do that? What is bhakti? Bhakti is an expression of love to the Supreme, right? So we've all, in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, we've seen the definitions, Anya Bhilashita Shunyam. So the service without a motive, right? So when we want to serve the Lordship, but not because, I want my son to, although my children have already done their degrees now, but it's not for a material thing. It's for something much more precious that we would need to take with us. At the time of death, whatever we've accumulated, everything's going to stay here. Absolutely everything, including whether you're a scientist, whether you've got this knowledge, that knowledge. I studied geology, I won't even remember what. In the end, what's going to go with me is knowledge of this science that's going to take me out of my cycle of birth and death and old age and disease. And today, because I mentioned my dearest Guru Maharaj left his this planet to be with Srila Prabhupada and to be in his service. I'd like to tell you a couple of like how he had used. See, he was 17 when he met Srila Prabhupada, and he spent 10 months with him. And in those 10 months, he learned so much more that we haven't been able to learn in that, and that he spent, his rest of his years he reached in 70s before he left the body. So why? Because you need a guru, because Guru Maharaj would always say that you can always see without a guru, but when guru is like glasses. So if I take your glasses out, it'll all be slightly blurry. You can still see, but you won't be seeing as clearly. So with Guru, His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj loved his Guru, and he imbibed all those qualities, and he would be mortified if he heard me glorify him more than Srila Prabhupada, because even his birthday, he wanted to make sure that everybody glorified Srila Prabhupada. And in fact, when his disciple also wanted to, it's only natural, you bias towards your father, you bias towards the people you know or you love, and we would want to glorify him. He would be like, no, glorify Srila Prabhupada. And that's how he was. We had good fortune of visiting him, and he, now that he's not here, but luckily we've got his Vani, just like, although our dear Acharya, Srila Prabhupada, is not here, but he's left us with immense wealth and his Vani in books. And nowadays there's apps where you can hear these books. You don't even have to, whilst you're driving, switch it on, BVL, Bhaktivedanta Library. They're actually reading, so instead of listening to all these pop songs, you can actually listen to Srimad Bhagavatam, you can listen to Bhagavad Gita, and so on. And I would just like to, I just look at one verse that I always think so nicely describes my Guru Maharaj, and I'm sure he will say the same for his Srila Prabhupada. And of course, Srila Prabhupada has taught everyone how to disentangle from the body by the knowledge he's given us. And not to be proud of this knowledge, but actually be humble and be submissive and understand, So this particular topic of 20 to 35 mainly deals with those things. And I just want to go on to saintly qualities. So there is a verse which is Srimad Bhagavatam, text, Canto 3, Chapter 25, verse 21. Titiksava karunika suhridam sarvadehinam ajat shatrava sadhava sadhu bhushanam. So this is, Titiksava is someone who's tolerant. So my Guru Maharaj, extremely tolerant. Suhridam, friendly to all. Non-envious, without any shatru, without any enemies. Ajata shatrava. Sarvadehinam, he's friendly to all, irrespective of who it is. Like Guru Maharaj wasn't like, oh, this is my disciple, this is not. He was like, be very gentle, a big Vaishnav, a great gentleman qualities of all. Then he's abiding by scripture. That's the other thing. Sadhava sadhu bhushanam, and he's very sublime. On top of that, my Guru Maharaj had very many other qualities. I mean, this is just literally saying one thing in Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. He had really sharp memory. He was very gentle. He was very eloquent. He could explain things so nicely. And he asked me to preach. And hence you see me here. And I remember one time, I think in July 2019, I think Mom, Dad had gone to see him in Amritsar. And Maharaj had met my dad and Mom once at one of our god sisters, Rajasundari's house, and where he had garlanded them. And I was so amazed, like there is still a clip of that on Facebook, that Dad is putting garland on Maharaj, and Maharaj is saying, like my dad maybe reminded him, and oh, he's heard saying Vrinda Vilasini's father. And then he said, oh yeah, I remember meeting you. He just met him once here. And when we were going to see Guru Maharaj last time, when we saw him going to New Mayapur for his class, and the last thing he said to me in the car when we were dropping him off to airport so he could go and give his retreat, he said, don't worry about your mom and dad, I will give them initiation. And I was thinking that wasn't me prompting him. This was just literally one other devotee was there. You can ask them if you don't believe me. And I said to mom, like after, when he left the body, that you have to start thinking in terms of, she goes, no, I've got him here. I cannot have any other guru now anymore. But that's him. And then we went to visit him, his D-land, where he went in COVID. Everybody told him, don't go. But he was not worried about him. He was worried about all these people preaching in America. And he wanted to be, as a leader, be seen to be leading them and be there to support them. So when everybody said, Guru Maharaj, don't go, it's COVID, this, that, the other, and he said, I don't need to worry. He believed, obviously, that this body, Krishna would always protect the soul if he can't protect the body, because body you can't protect forever. So Maharaj made sure he treated us like the daughter and son. He personally came out. He'd made a big lunch for us. He took us into his house in Stanford, showed us a room, took us to the bathroom, and there was just that one thing there I saw that I'd like to read, and then we will call it a day. And it actually said in the book, it's like a big, like ensuite shower room, like in America, everything is big, isn't it? Just one moment. Okay, there's only 3 minutes left. I don't know whether I'll be able to. But anyway, to give you the gist, that Krishna will not take you where the grace of God will not protect you. So protection, we all know, is going to come from the knowledge for the soul and not this body, because whoever's taken birth is sure to die. So we'll end it here, and let's all vow to try and take on the japa, on to chant the holy names of the Lord. They're very simple, 16-letter words. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So thank you all for coming. And I think there's about, in 3 minutes' time, there's going to be Aarti. But if there's a quick question, you can either ask me or you can see me outside. And thank you so much. Any questions, any comments? Okay. Bhagavad Gita ki, His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj ki, and our dearest Acharya, Srila Prabhupada ki. Thank you all. So please stand up for Aarti. I think they'll be doing Aarti now. In 3 minutes.
जय जय गौरा चंदे आरती को शोभा की बजय जय गौरा चंदे आरती को शोभा जाना भी तात बने जग मन लोभा जाना भी तात बने जग मन लोभा पदाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामीति नामिने नमो। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर शिवसदि गौरा भक्तवृंद। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर शिवसदि गौरा भक्तवृंद। जय श्री कृष्ण जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर शिवसदि गौरा भक्तवृंद। जय श्री कृष्ण हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Jaya Radha Gokula Nand Radha Gokula Nand Radha Gokula Nand Shri Radhe Jaya Shri Ram Jaya Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman Jaya Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman Jaya Sita Jaya Gaurani Sai Jaya Gaurani Sai Jaya Gaurani Sai Jaya Gaurani Sai Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Shri Shri Radha Gokulanand ki Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman ji ki Shri Gaura Nitai ki Srila Prabhupada ki Hare Krishna, we will do the Narasimha prayer now, so please sit down. Thank you. की जय, श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय. Hare Krishna, thank you so much for coming for evening aarti. They will serve the Mahaprasad in the reception area. Please take the Mahaprasad before going, and if anyone wants to serve the Mahaprasad, please go and help them. Thank you so much for coming and have a safe journey to your home. Hare Krishna, thank you.